that place celebrates comedy. Like Boston comedy is like, it's very important to people that live in Boston.
Yeah.
And when comics succeed and they come back to Boston, it's a very special thing. It feels amazing. I did the Garden. And when I did the Garden, it was like, I was going to cry.
Yeah.
Like before I got on stage, I was like, this is nuts.
Yeah,
Like,
for me,
this
there
is-
was the Orpheum, because that's where I used to go to see concerts.
Yeah.
And when I played the Orpheum last year, it was the last show I did of the tour. It was very emotional.
Yeah, it's a special place, and it's one of the most important places for the development of comedy. You think of all the great comics that have come from there. Jay Leno, like people forget how good Jay Leno was. Jay Leno, when he was just a stand-up before he hosted the Tonight Show, was one of the best fucking comics alive.
Ever. One of the best ever.
He was
I
amazing.
love Jay. Jay's fucking. I remember when I was working on Conan as a writer, and Jay came to do a panel, to be interviewed on Conan. It was like a favor to, because he was the bigger guy. It was early in Conan's tenure. But he sat and did bits like he used to on Letterman. Like he didn't talk about the Tonight Show, he just did bits. And one of them was, he said, I was out at the hotel today, and he goes, I went to CVS to buy something, and I paid, and the woman didn't even look at me. She just gave me my change, and I go, that's it? No thank you, no have a nice day? She says, it's on the receipt. This is a fucking great bit.
That is a great bit.
No, he's just, I loved him so much. And on the Tonight Show, he was, some people hated him, whatever, it's easy to make fun of him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He gave me the lead spot on the Tonight Show way before anybody else did. Way before any other. I was doing Letterman, I was doing Conan, but I was always like 2 or 3. And Leno, I was booked to be the second guest. But they told me, Jay said he wants you promoted. He wants you to be first and do 2 segments. Like fucking Burt Reynolds.
That's amazing.
And I was like, what? And he liked our rapport. I think I also brought out some funny in him.
Yeah.
But that was a huge thing that he did for me. And to this day, like every time throughout my career, once I knew Jay, every time something good would happen, if I won an Emmy, hosted SNL, or did something that people heard about, I knew I'd get a call from Jay. And he just leaves a voicemail. I don't know how to reach him. I don't have his number. He just leaves a voicemail and says, hey, I saw you did this. No, it's just good job. I'm real happy for you. And he has nothing he wants from me.
Right.
But he always called me. And then when I had my bad time, I thought, I'm not going to hear from Jay again. And he called me. And he left the same message just saying, hey, man, I hope you're doing okay. Everybody loves you. You're okay. And, he's never not been there. He's
Right.
like a real mensch. He's a really great guy. I just think it's important to say because he's caught a lot of shit from comedians.
He's caught a lot of shit for no reason. I mean, I get he was hosting the Tonight Show, and it's a different sort of thing, and the monologue was very homogenized. But if you hang out with him and you talk, like he did my podcast, and he told a story about doing stand-up for a bunch of mob guys. And that this mob guy, he tells a story about this mob guy yelling at a preacher because the priest said something, and he was like, "Motherfucker, didn't we give you enough money?" And he's screaming and swearing as this mob guy, and I'm like, "This is fucking incredible."
Yep.
I remember while he was telling the story, I was like, "This is amazing," because you get to see the real Jay Leno.
That's right. No, he's a viciously funny guy. But I understood this Tonight Show strategy when I watched him in an interview once, and he said, my goal is to come up with jokes that have the broadest possible appeal. Like, that's just how he thinks about that job.
Yeah.
Jokes that every single person can like on some level. And obviously those are watered down, easy jokes, And even I was on once, and Kathy Lee Gifford was the lead guest. And she's talking about her son Cody, and she says, he has a stage in his bedroom. And Jay's like, what? He has got a stage and lights. Her son. She says, kids love to put on shows. And he goes, yeah, the gay kids do. And fucking place went crazy. The Tonight Show audience went nuts laughing, and she had tears. She was laughing so hard. And I saw him after in the segment break go up to somebody and go like that. They cut it out. It didn't air. And I know that was him going like, Don, let's not use that. Let's not use that. So that's his goal. People get to have their own fucking goals.
Well, to those guys that were coming up in that era, that spot was the crown. That was the throne. If you could host the Tonight Show, you were the fucking man, and everybody wanted the Tonight Show gig. And he protected that thing like it was a sacred institution.
That's right.
And that's what he had always wanted. And he still did stand-up. He has the strangest strategy, though. He doesn't have any material that's out there. He goes, if I put my stuff out there, then fucking, you know how much
still
that cost
believes
me?
that. He still believes that.
I'll lose $500,000 and fucking, he had this idea in his head that he couldn't do his act then because his act would be out there. Which is, that's his take on things. He's at his best doing his car show. Yes. Because that's when you get to see the real Jay Leno, is because he fucking loves cars.
Yes.
I've had so many conversations with that guy where he'll just go deep into cars and he loves them. And it's not like he loves like cars that make him look like a baller. No, he loves like old steam-powered engines. He loves like weird fucking tires.
And he knows everything.
Everything.
One time I did the Tonight Show, and after my set, he said, "Hey, stick around. Do you have to go somewhere?" And I was like, "No, yeah, hang around." I didn't know what that meant, so I went back to my room, my dressing room, and one of the producers said, "Hey, Jay wants to talk to you." So I didn't know what it was. So I wait for a while, and he comes with he's got a motorcycle helmet, and he goes, "Hey, let me show you it's my new bike." He takes me out and shows me he has a jet motorcycle. He had created it. It was a jet engine with a motorcycle frame built around it. And I go, "Wow, is that a jet?" And he goes, "Yeah. I took it out of a helicopter and I put it on this." And he starts it, and there's this blue flame coming out of the back. And he puts down the visor and he just takes off. And he's not circling around. I just hear him fading in the distance. And I go to the producers. "So is that it?" And she goes, "Yeah, you can go." He didn't even say anything, like talking. Just, look at this.
Also, imagine this guy who's the host of the Tonight Show who just rides a motorcycle to work.
Yeah.
Like, he would ride a motorcycle to work all the time. Like, all the fucking money that's banking on him is the biggest fucking show and talk show. And this guy's out there on a motorcycle.
On a fucking experimental motorcycle. He told me another time, because I asked him about that bike, that he had to pay for a guy's Lamborghini because he melted the front of a Lamborghini. It was too close, and he gunned it, and he just melted the whole front of a car. So...
Well, he probably had spare parts at his fucking place.
Sure.
He has 11 garages. There's 11 warehouses filled with cars. When I went to his place, I saw one warehouse, and I was like, this is incredible. I brought my car there, and we did this little segment on my car, and he goes, "Yeah, I got 11 of these." I go, "You have 11 of these?" And he goes, "Yeah, basically."
10 was not enough.
He's got 11 giant warehouses filled with cars, and it's fucking immaculate. Like, you could eat off the floor. And there's all these really cool old automotive signs on the wall, and it's like it's
strange.
Incredible.
Now I have to piss. Sorry.
Oh God.
Perfect timing.
I like Jay Leno too.